benefit of convenience to the end user.
Now, globally, 1/3 of food is wasted, which is about 1.3 billion tons of food each year. This amounts to a cost of nearly $940 billion to the global economy. We're now joined by Panashe Kahonde to dissect the subject further. Panashe, may you shed light on Zimbabwe's post-harvest losses situation?
So, currently, Zimbabwe loses over 30% of its food through post-harvest losses, right? And this is mainly due to poor storage facilities. This is mainly due to erratic transportation. This is also due to weak market linkages on the part of the farmers. So in order for us to meet the food security demands, this must be addressed. So on the farm, there is a challenge of poor storage facilities. Then there is lack of refrigerated units where the perishable foods can be stored, the perishable produces can be stored, and the shelf life can be increased. There is also a challenge of seasonal gluts, where the farmers are not willing to do proper market research, and they tend to produce the same good overall, and there is oversupply of the same good. Hence, most of the farmers will realize losses since their produce is not bought. There is no market, there is no demand on the market for it to be bought. There is also a transport gap in terms of them wanting to go and sell their produce in one place, which is so far away from where they are. That will lead to a problem of a rejection of their goods, since they will get there in a dilapidated state.
Right. You are a startup founder of Kagrisol, which is an innovation agro solutions organization. Question is this: from an innovative standpoint, what is the panacea given this is a common challenge across Africa?
There is also need for farmers and stakeholders to be on a collaborative path. That is making sure that for subsistence farmers and small-scale farmers who are not able to produce so much quantities and realize the actual profits which they want, they can now gather all their produce and they can sell them in bulk as an area, as Rusapi, right? And when they do that, then they can share their proceedings and profits from there. There is need for digitalizing of the platforms in agriculture, making sure that the buyer and the seller, the farmer and the buyer meet online, and then their produce can be advertised, and they make sure that the market is already there when they are already engaging in the farming. They no longer have stresses of how to market or how to get the buyers for their produce. There is also need for contract farming. Yes, contract farming is already there in tobacco farming, but there is need for introduction of contract farming in perishable good production, in other types of farming.
Right. How can the different stakeholders work together in this particular matrix?
This now calls for the introduction of the innovative side of agriculture, where the engineers have to come up with the tailor-made solutions for each farmer for the preservation of the produce. So there is need for harnessing the energy which we have, the sunlight energy, and making sure that there are solarized storage units for the farmers. There is also need for introduction of silos which can be from farm to farm, right? And there is also need for introduction of hermetic bags provided from GMP, where the farmers can put their seeds, can put their grain, can put their produce, which needs to be airtight in order for it to be preserved well, right? And that will go a long way in making sure that we don't lose our produce. There is also a need for the introduction of the agro-processing units, where the farmers actually know that when they are not able to sell their produce in time, then their tomatoes, perishable foods can be dried and can be value-added, and value-added can be done on them and they can be sold in another state. When they know that they have the seeds can be crushed and oil can be extracted from them and it can be sold, right? And that can guarantee them getting income from their produce.
Right. Lastly, talk to us about how the government may be of use in solving this particular situation.
Also need for government to create a mandating secondary markets for subgrade produce, making sure that some of the produce which is not bought in the state the farmer wants it to be bought are used as raw materials, even for biogas, which can be used to power up household units, which can be used to power up farms, which can be used to power up government institutions, and making sure that each and everything that is produced from the farm is used, and everything that can be extracted from it can be used to make sure that we have income, right? There is need for investment in feeder roads in order to cut down the costs, so that the farmers who are away from Harare and Parimusika, they know that they can sell their produce even in Blawayo, even in Mtari. They do not need to travel to Mbari always, right? So if we are to do this, and if we are to solve on these problems, then as a country we can proceed, and the agricultural sector will be something which will be enjoyable on the part of the consumer and the producer.
Panashe, thank you for joining us on The Mint. Panashe Kahonde there, a startup founder of AgriSol, which is an agro-focused startup operating in Zimbabwe. Now, moving on, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe Governor